Hello, welcome to Guitar Talk. Thought I'd do just a quick guitar talk. We been talking about scales and the G scale in particularly, and so going way back to the first position. You'll remember that one. And then most recently I talked about the diagonal scale and then playing a scale up here, up the neck. So the diagonal scale starts here. And that's a pentatonic scale. And then I talked about how you could play your scales up here. So you can play, if you're playing a melody, you can play it down here. You can come up here. And it's the same scale. And we use that example, Amazing Grace. So that's first position. You can come back up here. And so if we think about taking a scale out of the middle of the diagonal scale, the diagonal pentatonic scale, we can do something in the middle of the neck. And so I thought I'd show that basic scale, and that'll be it for this video. And the next time when I start Guitar Talk, I'll be starting with a pentatonic diagonal scale in the key of C. And we'll start there, and we'll work out to fleshing out the C scale. We'll do it, in different positions, and we'll do it down the neck and just look at some ways to play in the key of C. The point of these scales is, as I've talked before, you can move them up and down. If you take your G scale, for instance, which is here, and you come up here 2 frets, that's now A. You can go the opposite direction, drop it 2 frets, that's F. And so if you learn that, they're movable scales. So as we talk about the pentatonic, which I did a whole video on that, on how to play it. So we're working our way up the string. And let's look at this part. It goes further. But if we just look at this part, there's your G note. So there's a scale there, right? G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So that's the scale. I'm talking and I'm trying to do this, I apologize. G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And that's the scale right in the middle. And the point of these scales is, this G note is also a scale coming out of the G bar chord. And I believe I've already talked about that. So you can connect from that G, you can come up here and you're back up the neck. So let's talk about that scale and what it looks like. When you go G, as you go down, right, then you have these. So I'll just do an Amazing Grace so we get it. So if you're playing the melody line in a service, say, and someone's doing Amazing Grace in the key of G, you can play it down here, you can play it here, you can play it way up here, you can play it in the middle if you memorize these scales. That's the point, and they're movable, so you can move them. Sometimes if I want to move a first position scale, I just use a capo. I've talked about that already. So all of that can be done. Let me explain the scale and then I'll make some closing remarks. So 5th fret, 4th string, first finger is a G note. That's your low G, right? And then your next, you skip a fret and you come up with your 3rd finger to the 7th. G, A, then B, and then C is a half a step from B. Right? You hear that? Then you come back to the 7th fret with your first finger on the 3rd string, and then the 9th, 10th, 12th, like that. And that gives you your scale. And we're back to a high G. So there are 8 notes there. I recommend, like all the scales, practice them forwards and backwards and so on and so forth. And the key to any guitar playing is going to be practice. If you're unwilling to practice, at some point it will limit your skill set. If all you want is shortcuts and riffs so you can show off in the music store in front of your friends, there are better ways to do that. You can go on YouTube, there are all kinds of shortcuts. But if you want to learn to play the guitar, you should learn to play all of the fretboard. That's the idea. And the scales will help you do that. And it never happens without practice. I think a lot of times people will hear someone playing music and they'll say, oh, you're so gifted. And I have no doubt that God gifts some people the ability to play music differently. You know, I'm not discounting that at all. But it's not all just gifting, it's talent, that people work at it. They practice. When you watch some of the best guitar players in the world, they didn't just, climb out of their bassinet and throw down their rattle and start playing guitar like that. They practice hours and hours for weeks, months, and years. And maybe we misunderstand music because we say people are gifted as though it was something just handed to them on a silver platter. But the truth is, while God has gifted people, people that play well and do anything well, any artistic expression, and they do it well, they do that well because they're talented, and they're talented because they took the gift that was invested in them and they invested it further by practicing and working at it and getting good. So it really becomes not just, oh, hey, I just don't have that gift. You don't have the discipline to practice is the problem. It's not God hasn't given you a special gift to do it. It's you don't put in the time. So that's my little soapbox. But I think it matters, and I'm not insulted if people tell me I'm gifted. I know what they mean, but and I believe I am, and I have prayed and asked the Lord to teach me to play the guitar over the years, and I believe He's helped me. But in all honesty, it takes time, and you practice, and you put your time in. And I tell people practice 15 minutes a day because I think it's something they might do. The ones who get to loving it come back and say, I practice way more than that because I just can't seem to stop. Well, I expect that to happen. The best players I've ever met play 3 to 6 hours a day if they can. And so that makes the difference. You don't have to, but if you play and practice every day, you will grow. And if you don't, you won't. So that's it. Till the next guitar talk, the Lord bless you and keep you, and I hope you appreciate this.